Hi there, it's Jo from Minerva. Today we're going to take a look at the technique of understitching and show you a couple of areas where you might use it. On a pattern, it will often use the word understitch, and that is a small line of stitching that you don't see, and it's often on the inside of necklines, on the edges of pockets, or anywhere where you've got a hidden facing or a hidden button band or a placket, and you need to keep that piece of fabric on the inside for structure, but you don't want to see it on the front. What you want to see from the front is a really nice finish. I've put together a couple of examples for you today while I've been making some other projects. So the pocket is from the Lyra dress, and that is using the Pop Cheetah fabric from the Minerva exclusive Viscose Chalet range. And this is a Empire line sundress that I'm making from an art gallery cotton. And both of those examples have a little bit of understitching in the pattern instructions. In order for a pocket lining not to start poking through your seam so that you can see them when you're wearing it, it's important to understitch your pocket. So you stitch your pocket between the notches and press your pocket away from your skirt so that the seam allowances are touching the pocket. Next, you're going to take a really small seam line down the edge of your pocket, so where the pocket seam joins the skirt seam, you understitch, taking the seam allowance and attaching it to the pocket lining. Before you understitch, you need to finish this edge, because once it's understitched you won't be able to get to the edge to finish it off. So finish the side seam, place your needle so that it's just 2 millimeters from the edge. Ensure that your seam allowance is pointing towards your pocket bag and that you're sewing on the pocket bag side, not on the skirt side. Understitching is used around a neckline to make sure that the neck facings stay on the inside. So this is a bodice I'm working on. This is the front, this is the bust, here's the neckline, and this facing is going to be folded to the wrong side. And now if I try and press this, I can get a good press on it, but sometimes the facing will roll back from the wrong side and show on the right side. So it's a few little preparation stages before you sew. So you sew the neckline on, your facing and your bodice front neckline, and I've clipped the curve so that the fabric has room to curve nicely around that neck shape when I press it, and I've pressed all of the seam allowance towards the facing. So this is the interfaced facing and everything is going towards the facing. To do the sewing element, you keep all of those little pieces that you've clipped heading towards the facing. So through your fingertips you should be able to feel quite a thick amount of fabric here and nothing here, just your top here. And you want your sewing machine needle to run just on the facing. So you're sewing from the right side and you're sewing a line of stitching along the facing that's sandwiching all of the seam allowance and the facing together. Use your fingertips to make sure that you can still feel thick lumps this side and nothing on this side. from the inside, you'll see your line of understitching, and when you take that to the iron, it just irons itself. So you just press the top because it automatically flips around, so you don't have to try to stop the facing rolling to the front. The understitching holds it behind here. Such an important part of some sewing pattern processes, and don't miss it out, because you really won't get that lovely finish if you miss out understitching. I was just about to wrap up this video on understitching, thinking I've done pockets and necklines, and then I moved on with this little cap sleeve dress that I'm making, and I needed to put two sleeve pieces right sides together, and I realised I've only cut one set of sleeves and I don't have any more material to cut another set, so I've cut the sleeve lining from a piece of shiny jacquard lining. So I particularly don't want this piece of lining to be seen along the bottom edge of my sleeve. So this is my little cap sleeve, look, and it's supposed to be self-lined in the same fabric. So even in this situation, the pattern doesn't suggest understitching, because normally it would be the same fabric on the other side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to understitch this. So I'm going to push everything towards the lining, a bit like when we pushed everything towards the facing. I've clipped it, so I'm using all the same techniques that I used before, and I'm going to understitch that so that I can get a really good finish on the bottom of my cap sleeve. So there we are, an accidental cutting error of running out of fabric and not cutting two sets of sleeves is a really good way of showing you how that understitch works. So my understitch is in white on there, and it just shows that the white stays on the inside and the sleeve edge hasn't got anything showing, and it makes a really crisp edge. And actually I think it'll be really nice to wear on the inside sleeve as well as a sleeve lining. So there's an additional little way that being able to understitch has got me out of a fix. Thank you very much for watching. If you see understitch in a set of pattern instructions, you know not to miss it out, and now you know what to do, which layers to stick together. You shouldn't see understitching from the right side, it's just a hidden stitch on the inside. In the meantime, do head over to Minerva and check out the Minerva Makers posts, and you will find some really lovely inspiration, pattern pairings, fabrics that people have chosen, and they give you a few details on their project makes. We would love to see your projects uploaded too, so make a free account and share with our sewing community. Thank you very much for watching. Do come again soon.